Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Adrielle, and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I talked about the month of July, how I got approved for the PUA, and I got money in my account, and I can move out of Ruth's apartment. Well, in this episode, I do want to talk about Brandon in the month of July and also touch on Caitlin as well. So, here it goes. In the month of July, y'all, as everything was going on with me and the job applications, the PUA applications, I got approved. I'm trying to move out of Ruth's apartment, trying to get that situated. I'm still checking in on Brandon, and I notice a change in him. By the second week of July, I noticed that Brandon was more absent from social media. Like he went, oh, like there was this thing I noticed with Brandon. It got to a point where he was popping up on social media from Sunday to Thursday. And the weekends, he was nowhere to be found. Typically, he would post on his story. He didn't have any posts on his stories. He would like Nami's pictures. He wouldn't like Nami's pictures until that Sunday, right? Um, his workout content would only be from Sunday to Thursday. Like I noticed that there was this change going on with him. And I'm like, what's going on? So one of the biggest red flag was that I saw him somewhere. He was advertising a sunglasses. He had like a sponsorship with the company, right? I was like, this is an airport. Where is he going to? I watched that story probably like 5 times. I'm like, yo, this is an airport. Where is he flying to? Because mind you, y'all, this we were still in quarantine somewhat by July, right? I'm like, where is he flying to? That was one. Probably 2 weeks after, still in the month of July, he has a story of him being in the passenger seat and showing off his bag. Now, typically, when Nami and Brandon were together, Nami would be the one in the passenger seat and Brandon would be the one doing the driving. So now I'm seeing Brandon in the passenger seat and he's taking a video, like a boomerang, of his bag. It looks like he's traveling. Where's he going to? So in my mind, I joked. I made a joke in my head saying that, yo, imagine if he's flying to go and see Caitlin. I was like, oh my goodness, Caitlin would love that. She probably would pay for his ticket. But yeah, no, that will never happen because he wants nothing to do with her. The way she conducted herself on social media, he wants to stay far away from Caitlin. Time was going by, y'all. Brandon is absent from social media from Sunday to Thursday. The posts are not the same like 2019 and early 2020. I'm thinking, what is going on? Because something is happening. Me, on the other hand, I was still doing research. I was still doing research about Caitlin and still trying to figure out some things. I'm like, I might have missed something. You never know. You just might miss something in your research. Tell me why randomly. I probably was on Instagram. I don't even think I was checking on Caitlin and her Twitter. The thought came to my head about Tony being a Jezebel, right? The next thing you know, I was like, why do I believe that Caitlyn too is also a Jezebel? Like, y'all, the thought of Caitlyn being a Jezebel just came into my head. So I'm like, okay, I know my knowledge of Jezebel is that she uses seduction to get what she wants, typically from men, you know? But I was like, that may not just be the only characteristics of Jezebel. Now, To people who don't know what a Jezebel is a demonic spirit. I think in the previous episode I did say that you should read First Kings. Yeah, it talks about Jezebel, the woman, and her characteristics. She was very manipulative, very controlling, very deceptive. She did whatever to get what she wanted. And I remember in the Bible it says that Ahab, her husband, did what was evil in the sight of God by the influence of his wife Jezebel. So Jezebel is a woman who she would influence a man to do evil, right? That's just like a kind of like an overview of Jezebel, right? I'm gonna dive deeper into Jezebel later on in this story. So I said, you know what? Let me do research. I went ahead and did some research about the Jezebel spirit, signs that a person has a Jezebel spirit. I watched a video of, you know, signs or characteristics of someone who has a Jezebel spirit. Tell me why all the stuff I saw, y'all, it all pointed to Caitlyn. One of the things that I saw that really stood out was that Jezebel is someone who tries to capture the influence of other people. So she is someone who wants people to be heavily influenced by her, right? And there was one video in particular that Jezebel is someone who would always look for sympathy. And that was something I noticed with Caitlyn, y'all. I felt like with the blogs, with the tweets, with everything, Caitlyn was always looking for sympathy on social media. Caitlyn was someone who was very deceptive. This entire time that I knew about Caitlyn, all I saw was deception. There were things that Caitlyn wasn't talking about. Caitlyn wasn't talking about how she was with Nami. She wasn't. Caitlyn wasn't talking about a lot of things. You know, Caitlyn. I felt like Caitlyn was very deceptive towards the people who she was around. She made sure that she painted Brandon in this bad image. I just felt like she was very deceptive. Felt like she was also manipulative. That's another trait of Jezebel. She tried to manipulate Brandon into being a father. Like, come on. Like, really? She tried to manipulate a man into being a whole father that wasn't the father. You know? And Jezebel's a liar. I always believed that Caitlyn was a liar, at least since 2020. I believe she was a liar. What else again? The seduction. The seduction part was that Jezebel is someone who's very seducing. She's seducing with words, and she also uses appearance to seduce people. I believe Caitlyn was someone who was using her appearance to seduce men. Um, so it was just a lot of research I did, and I'm like, okay, all of this is pointing to Caitlyn. So I'm like, man, Caitlyn is a Jezebel. Then I'm like, oh my goodness, that means the devil is using Caitlyn or was using Caitlyn back in 2016, 2017 to destroy Brandon's life. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so thankful that Brandon left Caitlyn because who knows what would have happened to him had he stayed with her, right? So I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that, Brandon was able to just get away from her and everything. Um, yeah, so that revelation of Caitlyn being a Jezebel, it made things very insightful about the nature of things that were going on in 2016 and 2017. Now, here's the thing. Also, since I'm getting this knowledge of Caitlyn being a Jezebel, I know she's a liar. I know she's manipulative. I know she's controlling. I know she's deceptive. I know she does all these evil things. I said, if she is lying on Brandon on social media, now I believe she's a liar, but I didn't have proof, like concrete proof that she was a liar. I was discerning that she was a liar. I said, if Caitlyn is lying about Brandon being the father, because at this time I'm still questioning about the whole father stuff. I said, if she is lying, yeah, I don't even know if I said it, But I'm like, I think I said it that God should deal with her. Because you can't just be lying about people being the father of your child and they're not the father. Like, but I remember just having this attitude, like, if she is lying, like, yo, like she is going to be dealt with. Okay. Now, all in all, y'all, I still was hoping the best for Caitlyn. Y'all, I don't like. See, here's the thing, y'all. I want the best for everybody. My thing is, I want people to leave people alone. You know, I want people to leave people alone. If a person doesn't want to be with you, leave the person alone. If the person's not the father, they're not the father. Leave them alone. If you don't like a person, then leave them alone. I hate seeing people being evil, especially to people who want to be left alone. Like, leave people alone. So that was really where my annoyance came with Caitlyn, was that she never was leaving Brandon alone. Even after he left her, she still was holding on to him with the blogs, like still trying to tear him down. Like, leave the guy alone. Leave him alone. So I was hoping that she gets healed and that Jezebel spirit comes out of her. And when I say that spirit comes out of her, I'm not necessarily saying that she's possessed with that spirit, but she is under the influence of that spirit. So, hoping for that spirit to detach itself from Caitlyn and for Caitlyn to leave Brandon alone. Okay? Because, listen, I'll go in prayer. Okay? um, so yeah, that was really what I want to touch on about Caitlyn and Brandon in the month of July. Yeah. So in the next episode, I'm going to finish up the month of July, and then I'm going to talk about the month of August, which is my birthday month. Um, if you're liking a likely story, please comment, subscribe, and share my video as well. And I'll see you in my next episode.